Shoot, I have had my mic off this whole time. I'm so sorry. Oh, gosh. Okay, so last time we were playing, there was a bit of kerfuffle. We ended up meeting up with a lot of the heads of state, I would guess, talking about what was going on with the colonization and all that stuff for the city of Alduin. But what we ended up doing is we ended up running off with what's her name? Arcelia. We ran off to the forest, and we were hoping that we could talk with the Queen Leafkin to try and figure out what was going on with the jungle and everything. So we ended up running into her. Rosaltia, I think is what her name was. Looks like a Pokemon, honestly. And found out that Yggdrasil, which is the Norse fabled world tree, was actually one of the trees in a faraway area. What was it called? Rawasa or something like that. So the king, the king who had been kind of trying to conquer the land of Alduin, eventually found out about Yggdrasil, grabbed a branch from it and planted it in Ulbuka, the region of Ulbuka. So when Yggdrasil was burned down, the twin tree of it, basically got sick, more or less, and it seems like there's kind of like this corruption or something that's been going on, and the inference, I think, is made that the colonization effort that has been going back and forth, it's hindering plant growth, because we go out to Yorcia Weald and everything looks sickly, it doesn't look healthy. So we decided that we had to go talk. So Rosaltia was kind of hinted at that we needed to talk to the king. Now Arcelia took that as talk to the king of the Leafkin, and could get no much more out of Rosaltia. So we don't know what that actually means in total. At that point, we ended up cutting off. It looked like she also dropped like a seed pod or something when she left. So anyway, we are back in the game, and we're going to continue on. I don't know how much further we can go into this, the stuff. I have been kind of keeping up on top of assignments, so that's what we've been doing currently. Let me go ahead. I need to do a quick check on... Oh, where's the silly thing? Where's the waypoint? Isn't it just like right here? Oh, there it is. I'm just blind as a bat tonight, aren't I? Anyway, we're going to do a quick run over to Western Adolin. We need to refresh our Ionis. And then we're going to make it over to Eastern Adolin to continue the story. So. Last way, please. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and just do it right outside the Peacekeepers Coalition. I like the music in Eastern Allen more than Western, honestly. Western's kind of Pippi and Jolie. But Eastern kind of has a little bit more of the tone of, like, Sandoria. Kind of this very proud, majestic kind of music sound to it. Okay, so we need to talk to Oskarin, who is just northeast of the entrance to the Peacekeepers. Northeast, so he's around the corner. Oh, right here. Oh, looks like we don't... Yeah, we just have to approach him for this. What do you want? My time is too precious to waste with a common whelp. Maester Griskig, this man is an adventurer from the Middle Lands, a pioneer. Yes, now that I look closer, I remember your face. It's because of fools like yourself that the sacred forests have been violated after centuries of peace. Mincing words with a barbaric outsider is a waste of time. I shall go myself. But Maester! I suppose you have a better idea for remedying this calamity? It's a matter of pride for both orders. Don't just stand there, follow me! What's going on? You're a pioneer? Then you must be interested in what this whole mess is about. Well, obviously a fight has broken out in the middle of the city. Surely you're aware of the struggles between those in favor of colonization and those opposed. Very aware. Some young upstart from the Order of Rene and the lughead from the Avengers Coalition have come to blows. And since neither is backing down, the situation is just getting worse. You are strict adherents to their orders, so any fight between them is a fight between the orders themselves. I bet you're just itching to stick your nose where it doesn't belong. Don't skin off my back. Grotzig has lightly put everything to rest already. And by put to rest, I mean move the squabble down to the Colosseum. The Colosseum. Colosseum? How can you spend so much time in Outland and be completely oblivious to the famed Water Garden Colosseum in Rolla Waterways? It's a place where pride is won and lost. Since anyone can remember, the place has been used to settle disputes and feuds, sometimes even at the cost of precious lives. But it isn't a place for barbarism. Strict rules have been put in place to keep all fights fair. That has kept the deaths to a minimum. That doesn't mean some people don't come out with their tails tucked between their legs. There's no point in heading down there. They won't just let any riffraff in to watch the fights. Peacekeepers Coalition has better things to do than keep an eye on any fool who wants to watch blood be shed. So don't think for one second that the guards will let you pass its gates. I can't go one day without someone causing trouble. Can't a guy go one day without someone causing trouble? Seemingly not. Okay, so we zone into there from just down the road, down here it looks like. Now, we have been to the Rolla Waterways before. We did it for an assignment. We had to go get some blood thread or something like that. But we haven't been down here since. I always seem to meet you in the strangest of places, Janeth. Does this mean you also came here because you heard about the duel? The thing is, the guards aren't going to let you in unless you have expressed permission to enter. Wait, why would you care about this duel in the first place? I can't imagine my brother's stake in this interests you at all. Could it be that you're concerned about the widening schism between supporters and detractors of the colonization initiative? The schism, yeah. Janeth, thank you for caring so much about Outland, even though it isn't your homeland. Hey, why don't I bring you along as a guest? That way the guards can't raise any objections. Now, what does your brother have to do with this? I mean, I understand that he wanted to do colonization. Okay, so where do I need to go? I need to go to M6 is what it said? Oh, right there. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get a couple trust out, just in case. Because enemies down here can still attack. And I'd rather not be made a fool on stream. No more than I already do. So. Loose gate go down. Bridge goes flat. That's a bunch of bats. I'm going to get attacked. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Ah, I see. Now. Go ahead and get ourselves... All right. No unauthorized persons are allowed in the Water Garden Coliseum. He's with me. I hope you aren't implying that I would bring someone of ill repute into the Coliseum. My dearest apologies, Princess. I was unaware that he was in your company. Please proceed. The duel should be starting any moment. Okay, let's see how badly this is gonna go down. Neither of you plan to back out, I assume. Why would I when this cretin's the one at fault? The only thing more ridiculous than the coat you call your fur is the way you twist facts regarding the colonization movement. How dare you spin the face of the Alliance's decision? Hurrah! Woo! Sharply done. Ugh. Try this on for size. Ah! This certainly is a heated battle. Now for the grand finale. As if I would fall for that twice. Do not underestimate the power latent in all runes. What? Seems to be your matter. Cat got your tongue? I'll kill you. It's the last thing I do. You pointy-eared freak of nature. It appears that Alexion has the upper hand, but only to the unobservant eye. Not that he failed to mitigate any damage from her fire spell. Sin is just as much pain as her, if not more. Well, now, it appears the next blow should be the deciding one. Oh no, he's still armed and she isn't, so... No. Don't! My conviction shall never crumble! Taste the iron blade of justice, mongrel! Stop! Stop this very instant! Princess? Please do not interfere, Princess. This is a city-sanctioned trial by combat. That's just... I'm afraid he's right, Arcelia. They both have sworn to bear no grudge against the other. Everything's official. But why? It shouldn't have to come to this. Because this traitor spews seditious dribble from his gigantic lips, that's why. Our ancestors lived by the law of the land. They listened to its breezes, breathed the flow of its waters, and trod lightly upon its grasses. And they listened to the Founder King when he forbade us from entering the jungle. Iki Azkamat recognized the Founder King's word as the truth that it is. The Avengers Coalition, though, doesn't care as long as they get to keep making their trinkets. All I hear from is the mewling of a powerless kitten held by its scruff. Say it again and I'll rip your eyes out, maggot. I find it cute that you geomancers use the supposed voice of nature to rationalize your fear of entering a little forest. Once Amchuchu's revolutionary invention is built, you won't need to set foot in the forest. Our harvest will triple in size to boot. Justifying your violation of the ancient pact with a mechanical trifle. You disgust me. What disgusts me is the willingness to let the city's population starve. Even a simpleton like you knows full well that no airships can travel over the continent. There's so much trade we could do via watercraft. There's only so much trade we can do via watercraft. Stop this at once! See, Arcelia? A trial by combat is the only thing that'll stem the tide. Or would you rather everyone's emotions boil over into a civil war that splits the capital in two? No, I don't want that in the least. Mofaraja, Alexion, somewhere deep within your hearts, you two must know that this battle won't solve anything. Atlan's Assembly is the only body that has any power to decide the fate of the colonization's initiative. No matter which one of you emerges victorious, it will be no impact on their decision whatsoever. I beg of you, stand down. Princess, all I want to do was to protect the forest. That, and to honor the Founder King's last words. You said it yourself, Arcelia. We shouldn't do anything to destroy the continent. 12 orders, 8 oppose the movement, while only 4 oppose it. That's an overwhelming majority in my book. Shut your trap! How do you explain the lack of Ygnus' presence at the assembly meetings, then? He's the one who started it all, yet he won't even show up to defend himself. Well, you see... The rumors are all over town. What rumors? That he's incurred the wrath of the forest and is afraid to leave his bedchamber. What brazen impudence! Have you forgotten if Grand Chancellor Ygnus is a descendant of none other than the Founder King? The monarch who founded this nation, the warrior who boldly strode into those unforgiving wilds and built a country from nothing. That self-same blood courses through Ygnus' veins. I will not suffer to the besmirching of a name as great as his. You agree with me, Arcelia, do you not? Princess? Please promise us he'll appear at the next assembly. That seems like a reasonable request to me, Princess. I don't know. The colonization movement has drawn its final breath. The end is nigh. I knew the rumors were true. Say your tongue. That is mere pavlor, and you know it. I'll try my best to get him to attend. More importantly, you two shouldn't be fighting each other. Both citizens of Alderland, for the goddess' sake. So please, let's just forgive and forget. Fine. I withdraw at Arcelia's behest. What if the outcome? A duel such as this requires a victor, a champion. Let me rephrase that for you, traitor. I lose. You win. Rejoice at your well-earned victory. Very well. I declare Alexion the winner. Remember that you two may not fight over this issue anymore. Yeah, I realize that. Arcelia, do I have your word that Ignis will attend the next meeting? Yes, you do. Perfect. I'm sure Ichthy Astamat will be delighted to hear this. All right, fight's over. Everyone out. Yikes. Okay, so we can't do it until the next day, which is only a little bit away. So I'm okay with this. Honestly, that's wonderful. I have to go back to the Pioneers Coalition to start the next mission, so. Our timing was actually really good on that. While we're waiting, why don't we go ahead and tackle a couple of assignments? So, I ended up finding out some information. So the assignment stuff itself, there isn't any kind of a timeline on doing the assignments, other than the wait on impeters themselves. So if I do it like on a daily basis or something like that, I won't run out of impeters. Also, I don't have to put them in kind of like a time period like I thought I had to. So even though I asked one of my viewers and fellow players the same question, he didn't know a lot about coalitions. He hadn't done them in a long time, so I still wasn't sure. I was able to get information from my link shell at another time. So doing the assignments is purely on how often I do them now until I get the requisites done, more or less. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be working on getting each coalition up as I go along, rather than like spreading my votes out. I'm doing one at a time, which just seems more expedient. So while we're waiting for the day to turn, let's go ahead and do an assignment. And because I get no particularly difference in just paying them out. Let me rephrase that. I don't care how it gets paid out currently right now, because I can do these indefinitely. So what I'm doing is I'm actually going to spend 3 impetors on each of these to make it so that I'm getting through them faster, if that makes sense. Because if I did them one at a time, it would take me 3 times as long for essentially the same outcome. Now, in the future, when I'm leveling jobs up, I might do the impetors and get the jobs, get some free levels out of just doing the impetors. I don't mind doing that. But that's neither here nor there. So, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to go ahead and run out to Battlegrounds. We're going to go run to the first bivouac. And honestly, the Couriers Coalition stuff is really, really easy to do. I go out, I hand over the package, I warp back, and I'm done for an assignment. Really, really, really simple. So simple, in fact, I might be able to do 2 of them while we're waiting. Coalition assignment done. I think some other ones are going to be more annoying. Pioneers, there's a selection of assignments where I actually have to go like gathering stuff, which won't necessarily be bad, but it's not like an easy quick fix, you know. Not like though some of them will be harder. The ones finding the lost articles. What was that one? Mummers, I think it was Mummers Coalition that did that, finding the lost articles. Those aren't exactly easy either. That's roaming the map, try and find them. So. Alrighty. Perfect timing. Adeline, we need to go to the Pioneers Coalition. Articuno. I watched some videos of some interest of I watched a Game Ranks video this afternoon before I had dinner about survival games that are coming up with interesting mechanics, and there were some good ones in there. There was one I think that I'd already heard about, just out of my own browsing and stuff like that, but there were some more that were interesting. Deville. Well, burn my brambles, call me a ghost town if it ain't Jedith. You heard about the official duel in the Rala Waterways? You bet your britches. Of course you did. Then I guess you don't know the outcome already, eh? No matter the result, that's what was fighting about. Really gets the blood boiling. Ever since Grand Chancellor Ignis reinstated colonization, those in favor and those against be squaring off something fierce. At each other's throats like rabid Lepinians, I say. Ain't the first incident either. With all the young'uns around here more ornery about this topic than a Velk with a toothache, it ain't hard to see why tensions be a-flaring. How can I find out more? Sorry, I've got a hangnail. Not necessarily a hangnail, just a chipped fingernail that was catching on stuff. Go ahead, get rid of that. Well, I ain't much of no reader, but if you're looking to read a page or two about all the ill will between the two factions, the Selenia Memorial Library is a good place to start. There's one title in particular on the tip of my tongue, but okay. So we're gonna go to the Memorial Library now. So here's the library. Epple Treple. Selenium Memorial Library contains relics of knowledge from ages past, as well as the latest, illuminated publications. Would you care to enter this Vestaru Vault of Knowledge? Yes, please. Oh, wow, this is great! It's not as big as you think, but, no, it's actually still a very good-sized... Okay, so... Read all selected history on the bookshelf. The section is between Vefa and... Between Yafafa. So I can read some of these. Bestiary. These volumes are tightly bound, preventing admittance to the stores of knowledge they contain. Oh, boo! This shelf is packed with tomes chronologically in the historical events that took place within the sacred city of Aldolin. Colonization Decree. In the year 880, the leader of the Order of Aldolin, Ignis S. Aldolin, declared the continent of Ulbuka open to colonization. His fiat proved controversial, as the 12 orders quickly became divided over the issue. Leaders in support of colonization, Ignis S. Aldolin, Melvian de Malacroix, and Chero Macaro, Margaret Lelavaliang, Flaviria Reginald, Amchuchu, leaders of opposition of colonization. Following pages is creased in a peculiar manner. Hildebert, Bratzig, Svenja, Iki Askamot. The craggy communion. 100 years after the Great Expedition came to a close, Adolin's leaders were still plagued by the numerous burdens the era had left on their city. Faced with mass poverty and the eventual collapse of their nation, the king and the 11 orders representatives debated fiercely for days on end on how to rectify their plight. It was only a matter of time before they would realize the only recourse left to them was to form an alliance. Thus, the long-standing dynasty erected by the founder king was torn down, and out of the political rubble came the sacred city of Adolin. Established to both further the economic prospects of the nation as well as to quell its upstart rivals, this merger of the archipelago's various settlements signaled a new beginning of the continent. The Great Expedition's twilight years. In the year 673, the Great Expedition came to a close. The royal fiat banning colonization was promulgated, and work on a monstrous western wall of the city, termed Yorda Siete, came to a head. The citizens of this island capital had but one choice: huddle meekly behind the thick city walls or face the untamed wilds of Ilbuka. Huh. So I can't read all the history, apparently. You've noticed that kits of all kinds have been a frequent tarway in the Rella waterways lately, right? No. I obviously don't mean pioneers. Who'd think odd of that? I mean, Adolindian guys and girls. They kept using this strange phrase to each other. All these whippersnappers and their argateru. Why can't they use real words? Okay, so I think I actually got what I need to get done, surprisingly. And we should have it right here. There it is. Let's go back to Laville and talk. Oh, I went to Couriers. My mistake. I needed to go to Pioneers. Aha, it's you, Jeff. I never need to break out the old lasso when you're around. You always seem to know exactly when I need to find you. We've heard a few hoops and hollers from concerned citizens about some young people skirting in and out of the waterways. It looks like they're up to no good, given all the whispering and mumbling they do. Now, I'd say these reports hold about as much water as Upside Down Plate. It seems the Peacekeepers Coalition is inclined to agree. They won't have any of it. I know they seem insignificant. We need to cover all corners of the corral on the off chance they're true, especially given the history of the issue in that duel the other day. Would you do me a favor and mosey on down to the Rala waterways to check things out? Okay. Okay, so we need to go to the Rala waterways. The closest one was at at F5. Okay, I think we'll take yeah, we'll take the waypoint at the wharf. Okay, we're gonna head down this way. The faintest of voices echoes off the corridor walls. All hail the masterminds. The masterminds. Two voices chant the same phrase in a slightly unsynchronized manner as they fade into the distance. Okay, so apparently we need to go to C6, which is just around the corner. For whom do we toll? So, the password is apparently the 4 letters and hinted on a marked page. HGSI, the 4 people who denounced it. Enter. I don't recall seeing your face here before. I suppose it's not unheard of to get new recruits. Get going or the council will begin without you. People who are wearing masks and stuff. Take heed, brethren. We cannot afford to bide our time any longer. The colonization movement is gaining momentum at a frightening pace. Its supporters disguise it as a herald of agrarian prosperity. Reality, however, is not but an excuse to justify the raping of the land. To wit, there is an incident a few days ago past where someone tried to burn the forest to ashes. Speak you the truth? She does. Our glorious leader witnessed it with his own eyes. He says the Peacekeepers Coalition is currently on the case. Those vermin are a disgrace to our continent. We cannot forgive their transgressions. And whereas there's one cockroach, thousands more spurring up from the woodwork. Ubuka's forest is vast, but it cannot last forever against this interminable infestation. They've already culled an irrecoverable amount of wildlife and uprooted most of the rare plants. And to throw salt in the jungle's wounds, they've begun recruiting more pioneers from overseas. These adventurers have befouled not only the wilderness of their presence, but the sacred city of Adolin as well. Ubuka is our homeland. She deserves better than to be accosted by complete strangers. These so-called adventurers do seem a bit too proficient at pioneering, that is for certain. Ever since they arrived, they are more than double the pace of the colonization movement. Word is spread that these ruffians have even managed to infiltrate Yorshawield's deepest recesses. Recently, the Adventurers and Pioneers Coalition have started working even more closely together. What's more, they brought over some young prodigy from a foreign land who's overrunning the continent with inventions. They wave the banner of what they call progress, saying these inventions will increase crop yields. What kind of progress reduces our woodlands to wastelands? Their hypocrisy makes me want to hack up a furball at every last one of them. You there, what do you think? You truly think ravaging the forest will help feed the Adolin? Of course it won't help. You're darn right it won't. There's no possible way that a plan that contradicts the Founder's King will would go smoothly. We must preserve the forest at all costs, for the sake of the continent and for the Founder King. I repeat, we have little time left. Arcelia promised that her brother Ignis would make an appearance at the next assembly. Were that to happen, support for the colonization initiative would flourish. Indeed. We must act before Ignis and the pioneers can trample Ubuka's wilderness underfoot. Arcelia, however, often calls for the colonization movement to take on a more reserved nature. She is sympathetic to our cause. That is why, though it may take time, I believe we can convince her to lead us into the new era. To make that easier, Ignis must be removed from his position as the head of Adolin's most prominent order. For all eternity. Assassination attempt. We shall uphold the will of the Founder King and restore Adeline to its former glory. Indeed. We strike during the dead of night. Give us your blood, your sweat, and your tears so that Adeline may be reborn. Well, very much seditious plans there. Yikes. Yeah, it's certainly not something that can be dropped off. Yeah. Okay. So apparently if you say the wrong thing, you get kicked out. And you have to do it over again. I didn't pick the right thing, because it's like, that's not going to go well. I figured as much that it was going to go badly. Anyway, let's go ahead to let's go back to the castle. We need to warn people. In a couple days, I'll be spending time with my whole intimate family. It's gonna be crazy and chaotic, but it'll still be good. Oh, not Western. We need to go to there, and we need to go to the gates. There we go. I knew I recognized you. You're Jet, the pioneer invited to the dinner here some time ago. What? A plot by anti-colonization revolutionaries, you say? I'm afraid that isn't my jurisdiction. You'll have to inform the Peacekeeper coalitions. They are much more prepared than I to deal with something of this scope. Come to think of it, I remember Granith mentioned a problem with the kitchen. I hardly think that has anything to do with a conspiracy, though. What was it? Oh, just that they had yet to receive their weekly stock of ingredients from the Civic Arbitorium. Western Adeline, it needs to be near the rent-a-room? Oh, okay, so down this way, and you have to go down. Gotcha. I think I just hit 3 rather than 6. I pop out in the wrong spot. I think I did. Yeah, this doesn't look right. This is the mummers. I got the wrong spot. There we go. Oh, wow. I mean, if we got a bunch of waterways down here, it makes sense. I gotta find somebody called Chelvava. Ah, here we are. Welcome to the Arboretum Wetum. It's so rare to see someone in this neck of the Watar ways. What brings you down here? What's that? From the Middle Whittleland, you say? You want to help with the colonization of Wataru? Thank you so much. What a kind Wataru you have. What do we have here? We raise vegetables. That's what. You know that all the water here is pumped from deep below the island's surface? And goes around and round in an intricate reticulation of tunnels. Maybe the tunnel's designs would have been more logical if they weren't built 200 years ago. The geomancers back then did a good job with what they were given. Anyhow, we could use some of the water in this Taro to grow our vegetables. I'll let you in on a little secret. Taro, Alliance's most important person, lends us his aid every so often. Exactly, none other than Ignis S. Adolin. It says that a place like this is needed not only to provision the colonization movement, but to help make the city self-sufficient Taro. Sadly, he's been feeling under the weather for a while. I can hardly remember when the last time I saw him. Lots of people criticize Ignis' decision to colonize Ubuka, saying he's gone too far. Everyone here, though, stands tall and proud in support Taru of him. Sorry, but it's not too appetizing, is it? The Mentors Coalition was nice enough to develop a water purification system for us, but even with that, it's still rather dirty. Plus, the lack of light down here means the plants often don't get enough nutrient tarus. There's no denying that they fill our stomachs to the brim, though. Won't find fresh produce at a cheaper price anywhere in Adolin either. Oh, over here, these Adolin tomatoes look positively scrumptious-wumptious. Incidentally, Taru, let me tell you something about Arcelia. You know her, right? You do know her, right? By the way you talk, it sounds like you're best Taru friends. How'd you get to be so close to her? Never mind. Well, Arcelia trekked all around the Jungle Wungle just to pick some tomato sproutlings for us. Truly are amazing specimens. For I've never seen any plant more resilient Taru to disease. I still reminisce sometimes about the time I told her, it'll be my pleasure to give you the first harvest Taru. Why? Because her smile was positively angelic. I felt Taru as if I gazed upon the countenance of the goddess herself. Aha! I do believe the inspiration Wei-Shin has struck. If you're such on good terms with the Princess Wincess, why don't you take today's batch to her? Just tell her that they're from Chelvava, and she's sure to accept Taru. You don't mind wine, do you? See, the amount Taru of work I have left is absolutely staggering. While I would rather do it myself, I guess I'll have to let you steal the spotlight, Taru. Shall evacuate the premises. Deliver the goods. Thank you, you're an invaluable, valuable help. Okay. Here you go. Don't you dare drop these, or the ghosts of us crestfallen researchers will haunt you even into the afterlife. Okay, now we're gonna head back. My guessing is that the tomatoes are somehow were one of the indigenous species of the island that Arcelia got for being connected with royal blood. And the tomatoes are doing a lot better than everything else because they're natives, as opposed to the other produce that is struggling. Anyway, let's see. Pardon me. The Taro named Shalvava in the Civic Arboretum asked to deliver the box of Adeline tomatoes to the castle. Sorry, but I'm still reluctant to let you in just because you know the name of the vegetable vendor was contracted. What's this I hear about, Shalvava? Oh, hello. Why, hello there, Jareth. First, I'd like to apologize for not saying goodbye before leaving the Colosseum. I got lost in thought. Wait, those are Adelinian tomatoes. So, Shalvava did remember our promise. I'm so happy. You came all the way out here just to bring these to us? Well then, would you mind carrying them to the kitchen for me? Princess, if I may, you have nothing to worry about. Jareth is one of the most trustworthy people I know. Yeah, we spent how long together, collectively? Probably an hour? In like real time? In like game time? Seems we're destined to meet in the most unconventional circumstances. How's my brother feeling? Well, he's not in danger of dying. You want to see him? I don't know. He's not really in any condition to hold an audience with anyone. Really appreciate the tomatoes, though. I'm sure they sure do look delicious. That's not really why you're here. Then what are you here for? Enter the seditious plans. What? Said they're going to remove my brother from his seat for all eternity? No, they wouldn't. They couldn't. Hear that? I thought I heard a scream. Who are these? They appeared as if from the shadows, my lady. And here I thought no one in Vandil could disenchant our stealth incantations. No matter, though. Now that we've made it this far, you're not going to lay a finger on my brother. Doesn't even raise his voice in protest, let alone try to flee. Looks like a mere night's rest will hear what he has. Isn't that right, Princess? Our work here is done. After them! Burning clump of moss-covered dirt from the floor. This moss. I've only ever seen it grow in cool, sunless places. Could one of the assassins have tracked it in with them? Sounds reasonable. If that's the case, then their bodies and what's stuck to their shoes won't actually vanish. We just can't see them. That means that they probably came from somewhere that never gets touched by either heat or light. Where could that be? Just what transpired in the waterways. Never cease to amaze me, Jareth. Is there anything I want to know that you don't already? Wait, there's no time for idle banter. We should hurry if we want to catch them. Okay, back to where we came. Go back to the waterfront. Put up her hair. Appears to be an old sluice gate. It's like an old sluice gate, but something's different. If I recall correctly, the first ones were hand-operated. Bet we could get it open if we had a Watergate facility crank. I once heard that the researchers down here were tidy enough to put leftover parts in crates and boxes. We're gonna find that thing. It's probably gonna be in a box. Okay, so just doing a slow walk here while we get going. A light shine on Pantheon this day. Let's go. Did we have one for all the workways? I don't think we did. We do, okay. For Toads, for Funguars, and for Peter Dynamites. We'll go ahead and take that one. Hey, where'd you go? A Kururu? Oh, there you are. I think you went through the sluice gate without actually activating it. Except there isn't one here. Huh. Never mind. I think I have to head back this way. Oh, I think I just went past... No, not quite yet. Gotta go to that big border in the center there. Time to fight more stuff. Where? Oh, there it is. Okay. Got what we need. Time to head back. That's the wrong way. Still need to keep going. Sorry, something that happened earlier today just kind of been stuck on my mind for the moment, and it just has been. Now I'm starting to question if I had done something, if I had put some incorrect information into a form or something. So I think what happened... Okay, so... What had happened earlier today is I went to get in to get medication for my... To get my... The refills for my medication done. So I do Intermountain Healthcare. It's the closest place. And they had me do an e-file form. An fill out. Just a electronic form to fill out stuff. Man, I cannot say words. So I filled that out, and then my parents got a message at their phone asking about clinic stuff. And I think what had happened was that during the fill out, there was a contact page that I filled out in case of emergency, rather than it being a primary rather than a primary contact, which means it was on my fault. Means it was my fault that they got called, because I put down my mother's name as a contact in case of emergency, rather than the primary contact, which is me. So, unfortunately, I can't bring up the page anymore, because I think the text that I got to fill out the form got deleted, rather than archived like I normally do. So I'm peeved that I feel like they're in the wrong because they called the wrong number, when in fact it probably is me who's in the wrong because I filled the form out incorrectly because I didn't read it. And I can't determine where that is. So I'm now annoyed with myself as well as them because that's so that's kind of stewing in my brain at the moment and annoying me that I can't prove it one way or another. Thank you, Mayakov. Mayakov ready's coming up roses. Ah, here it is. I think I found the archived message. And of course, it doesn't work anymore. Yep, so I can't even figure it out. So I'm gonna have to just call them tomorrow and find out the problem. Ugh. I hope it's a case of I just filled out the form incorrectly because I didn't read it properly, and it's my own darn fault. So it's not, I'm gonna be double irked that they did that rather than calling my actual phone number. It made sense because when I read it, I already put my own phone number and stuff in there. So it's like, could they just have called that number rather than I don't know. Well, if it isn't Arcelia. With Jeth right on her heels. I thought Miss Dagger was better than to be followed by those from outside the profession. I know you're against the colonization move, and I completely understand why you would be. Still, that's no reason to kill my brother. I think the will of the Founder King is more than enough reason. Founder King would never condone the assassination of someone simply for expressing a different opinion from his. You're just convinced that? How about proving it on the battlefield? Okay, so we're starting up the battlefield now. Being requested. I'll prove it and then some. have thoroughly, utterly bested me. Do what you see fit with my living corpse. I am not at liberty to make that decision. Your fate will be decided in accordance with the law. More importantly, though, I shouldn't be wasting my time fighting another Alduin in the first place. Oh? Can't hide the truth any longer. I need to think of something before word gets out. I'm gonna need your help as well, Jareth. Meet me in the brothers' chambers as soon as you can. Okay, so there seems to be more to it. I think we immediately went into the cutscene. Chancellor is so stricken with illness that he can't rise from his bed. He can't even attend assembly meetings. How is he supposed to lead the colonization movement? Would you care to expound upon these rumors, Arcelia? If your brother is truly taken ill, let me take a look at him. I'll do everything in my power to see that he recovers. Mistress Svenja, this validates my arguments all the more. We cannot have an invalid running our nation. Even when he made his presence felt daily, the nation was practically in shambles. I call for this immediate abdication. Let Arcelia assume his position and we can all... Just a goddess darn Minotauro. Why raise Arcelia to Ygnus' position? Because it seems like the most glaring, obvious course of action. This is a government run by the people for the people. It didn't create the alliance so some living skeleton Welton could bully us into doing what he wants. Besides, the Chancellor Wenser will be no better in time. Will be better in no time, right? What in Woodslands was that eerie, weary sound? Don't try to tell me none of you heard it either. Master Murtaru Cheru Marchero can hear a single grain of bale drop from the elms away. No. Now he can't even speak. A mannequin? Or is it a leafkin? No, a doll? Ygnus? You're not telling me that this verdant Taru mass of twigs is... Grand Chancellor Ygnus? But he resembles a leafkin in every possible way. It's the curse! It's retribution for failing to heed the words of the Founder King! What a ghastly fate! Ygnus... When did this all start? Right after he began recruiting adventurers from the Middle Lands. He began complaining of constant fatigue and would sleep practically the whole day away. I was still able to exchange words with him the last time we met, however. I had no idea that I think the curse actually exists. Its existence is much more plausible than many are likely to think. There's an account of a haunting that dates back to the Great Expedition, a time when the Founder King's influence had just begun to wane. The ruler of the time claimed that the Founder King's ghost appeared in his bedchamber, warning that any attempt to enter the forest would bring with it grave consequences. Soon after the ominous apparition's visit, myriad disasters erupted throughout the capital. The coincidence was too horrifying to ignore. People immediately called a halt to colonization, erecting a new tomb for the first king beneath the city, and held a prolonged vigil to appease him. As a result, the ghost stopped appearing and the disasters abated. Some will likely claim that this is nothing but an old wives' tale, but I assure you it is not. The story can be corroborated by any number of scholarly chronicles. If it is indeed a curse, then perhaps we can lift it like any other? Has anyone tried casting Kursna upon him? If no one else has, please allow me to try. Svenja casts Kursna. Has absolutely no effect on Yignis. Unbelievable. This has got to be the single strongest curse I have ever encountered. I knew we should never have set foot in the hinterlands. To neglect the Founder King's wisdom is to seal our own doom. We've disfigured the forest. It's only natural that it seeks revenge. Are you saying that it's empathetically impossible for us to coexist with the jungle? The only thing we can do is mutilate each other beyond recognition? Your Rusalataya Pome begins to glow a green light. Can you hear me, Jedith? Ghostly echo reverberates inside your head. My name is Yignis S. Auderlin. I am brother to Arcelia, who stands next to you. Jedith? There is no time for beating around the bush, so to speak. So let me say this right now. Jedith, do not, under any circumstances, cease colonization. What's going on, Jedith? What? Strange voice? No, I don't hear anything like that at all. Furthermore, much more important issues lies before us than the lifting of this curse. The voice is Yignis's? You remember what Rosalita told us, don't you? Yeah. That's the king. Yes, that's it. You didn't have to add the funny accent, though. What if the king she was referring to isn't their ruler, but my brother, who's been transformed into a leafkin? Arcelia, I am completely lost. What in the heavens have you been talking about? Jedith says he can communicate with Yignis. So, Jedith, what's my brother saying? Trouble yourself not with breaking the curse. Instead, adventurer, listen to what I have learned, as long as you can hear me. I have transmogrified into a piece of Yggdrasil, the World Tree. Yes, Yggdrasil's powers are dwindling even as we speak. A disturbance has appeared in the heart of Obuka. Darkness gushes forth as it was from some forbidden spring. It's the very darkness which drains Yggdrasil's strength, and you'll be the one to stop the cause of it, Jedith. If you do not, and this harrowing force chokes Yggdrasil with its crepuscular grip, all life in Obuka will cease to exist as we know it. Of this I am certain. Jedith, your face. It's so pale. What did my brother tell you? Jedith? Speak to me, Jedith. You truly believe I will fall for such a ruse? That seed will allow us to communicate with Yignis as much as holding a tea party for the Blackthorn Coven will assuage their undying rancor. It's only natural that some of us will harbor doubts about what he says. The only way to prove him right or wrong is to test it for ourselves. Jedith, was it? you mind if I borrow that mystic plant of yours for a bit? We've been tricked! You can't hear Ignis's voice at all! I do find it odd that none of us were able to hear him. However, I also do not see any reason for him to lie to us. Since when did a pioneer need a reason? Jeth, let me try. Arcelia. I can hear something. It's definitely the voice of my brother. How intriguing. Yes, I see. But why, brother? Arcelia, what's your tender-legged brother Wuther saying? The same thing he told Jedith. Help yourselves not breaking the curse. Why is it only these two can communicate with him? How utterly incomprehensible. This administration can't function properly without a leader. I agree wholeheartedly with you, Vortimir. We must prioritize removing the Chancellor's curse. That is what's best for the nation. But my brother explicitly told us not to. Listen, Arcelia, you and that pioneer are the only two who claim they can hear him. We can't overlook the possibility that you two might be conspiring together. That's preposterous! He has a point, though. I realize that it's unlikely, and maybe I should have chosen my words more carefully. However, I assume that most everyone here concurs with me. Returning Ignis to his original form is our first concern. I'm sure even you agree, to some extent. I find it difficult to believe that you take issue with him being human. You don't wish for him to stay a pile of leaves for the rest of his life, do you? Well, no, but that is all I need to hear. I know exactly the person to solve this problem. All we need to do is summon her back from her expedition. Expedition? Ah, the I really should do something about this tongue of mine. At any rate, this would prove to be an interesting turn of events. This meeting is adjourned. Let us convene again in a few days' time. Okay, so he said, do not stop colonization. Why? I find that utterly bizarre. Why did he say don't cease colonization? It seems like it's another reason. There's another reason why the tree is dying and is having problems with it. But we thought that colonization, well, we had made the assumption colonization was the culprit, or at least one of the culprits. We didn't know that for sure, so okay, so we have to wait a full day. Unfortunately, we're at the beginning of a new day, more or less. So we have time to do stuff. We have, however, we do have some things that we can do. We can unlock some jobs. Let's go do a couple that are relatively simple to do. Let me go ahead and look this up. Rune Fencer was actually really simple. I still haven't unlocked Dancer and Scholar yet. But while we're here in Aldolin, we might as well get him here. Okay. Okay, so I think Octavian is kind of like in the middle of the map, just next to 7. Okay, so now we found out why he couldn't come to meetings now. He's slowly been turned into a leafkin. I think Octavian is just right here. Yep, and he's wearing the outfit. Hello there, adventurer. My name is Octavian, and I hail from the Order of Orvel. So, my adventuring friend, how long did it take you for you to reach Adolin? I assure you my powers of perspicacity are not the same as omniscience. 'Tis but a trifle to tell outsiders from those Adolinian stock. One's gait, his posture, or even the powers that lay dormant within him provide ample evidence as to his identity. Perhaps I am right about something else as well. Do you happen to know of runes, magical emblems that have been passed down for generations? Sadly, I do not. Runes have existed since the age of the gods and are considered sacred, or so certain legends pretend. Still, many more legends assert that the symbols first emerged from the north, on the continent of Rizawa. Rizawa, that's the location. However, all accounts seem to agree that each letter in this mystical array harbors powers of thaumaturgic significance. Moreover, this special magic can only be released by a few talented individuals. Those able to unlock the true nature of these uncharacteristically powerful characters are dubbed rune fencers. Now, as to why I asked my prior question, possibly bored you with a story as old as time immemorial, I have reason to believe that you are one of the chosen, one of those who can unlock the true potential of these runes. Call it Runesmith's intuition. That should be sufficiently background information. After all, my true purpose isn't to flaunt my vast intellect, but to awaken the latent rune powers of the chosen, per the order from the Order of Orvale. But I digress. Should you truly wish to walk the path of the rune fencer, I'll be more than happy to guide you. The road is long, strenuous, and above all else, steep. Many Runesmith cragsmen have lost their foothold during their climb, only to plummet to the darkest depths of concession, their days spent being shroud in shame. Proclivities and propensities, aspirations and antitheses. These are the cards that you are constantly dealt to deal with your opposition. Yet the first step starts with runic theory, then a hop to sparring, skipping your field practice, and finally a jeep to applying your years of experience. The regime is so harsh that many students often step down in dismay after the first few years. The first few years? Maybe I should be more forthright in my explanation. That's the straight and narrow way of learning the craft. There's a shortcut now. There is a shortcut now, only shortcomings being the risks that accompany it. Certain practitioners have, in these recent years, begun engraving runes into their flesh. Those who favor this route often come routed in battle, be they not accompanied by an absorbent mind, quick reflexes, or an adaptive body. Should you fail to keep those traits carved upon your soul, you shall forever lose the ability to manipulate runes. Knowing this, do you still wish to proceed and inscribe symbols upon your skin that could very well spell your own death? Yes, I'm ready, because there's no other way to do this. Straight and true flies the arrows of righteousness, and so, in a similar fashion, has your answer hit its mark. Your fourth step on the way to runic enlightenment will take you into the heart of darkness, where you must proceed an entrainment strong enough to overcome your body's resistance to runic materia. You are charged with collecting the proper ingredients to create this ink. Keep in mind that I send you upon this task not because of my revulsion towards menial labor, but so that you may familiarize yourselves with what will become your new essence. To be able to find a Yansi, a wildflower petal along the coast of the Yansi hunting grounds, Case 7. I wish you all the best, my friend. Okay. So. So now we need to go to the Yansi petal. Let's see. Yansi hunting grounds. All right, now. According to the wiki, it's found on the northern of the 3 beaches. 1, 2, and 3. So waypoint 1, or the station, will be the best option. Let's go to the station so we don't have to fight ourselves through a colonization reef. Oh, I also forgot to tell you guys, I got a new mount. Ixion. Very different from from 14's design. Not too different if you know the kind of the relative shape. The horn is the same shape, the tail is kind of the same shape, but the rest of the body, fairly different. But yeah, we swapped over from a tiger to a Valiant Stallion. Valiant Stallions of lightning and thunder. And honestly, I like it. It's just a higher mount. It's just a higher height, and it's a proper mount. Well, not like the Tiger or the Raptor aren't proper mounts, but you know, when I think of riding something, I always go to four-legged. I always go to quadrupeds of some sort. And the Tiger, while cool, is kind of different from some kind of a horse. So, and it was time for a change-up anyway. In this game, I'm going to be kind of picky about the mounts that I get, I think. Or at least certainly the ones that I ride. Oh, and I think that's our Blossom right there. Maybe? Ah, here we are. And dismount. And there we go. All we need to grab. Go ahead and head back and get this onward. So for those of you who were with me, I think it was Friday? Was it Friday that we did that? Yeah, I think so. I ended up reading through that you can have up to 100 failures, and every 10 attempts that fail, you get a response from the guy, and I read them out. They were awfully funny. It's more context now that he's like, I perceive that you're able to read runes, and then you fail, 100 times, and says, my goodness, you might as well try, all the different ones that were there. Anyway, this will be interesting to see how many times I actually make it. Okay, Mr. Adeline, go back to the Bevern Hillet. Excuse me. I can tell by the smile you're wearing that your travels do not overly wear you down. Wait by a moment, and I shall have your Atrament. And mix the Yesi wildflower petal you brought with a runic stone, ground into a fine powder. Double runes and rubble, magic burn and matter bubble. Nice little twist on the old Hamlet Witch's poem. And so the preparations are complete. That incantation may have looked simple to the untrained eye. That is only because I've distilled the process down to its very essence. How's your constitution? While inscribing runes may not leave scars, some report that the emotional stress of the event is quite overpowering. Not to mention the physical pain. Wait, what? Well, shall we begin? I still harbor doubts. Fully understandable, considering what's at stake. Come back once you've reclaimed your nerves. forgot to turn off my my link shells. Apologies for that. Luckily, they've been kind of quiet today. Quiet tonight, but yeah. Feeling a bit more brave? Let me impress upon you that the stress of inscription is only a temporary inconvenience. Well, shall we begin? Please be gentle. Okay, let's see how many times. The time is upon us. Now grit your teeth and prepare to feel feelings you've never felt before. Still remain conscious, I see. Exquisite, but that was only the end of the beginning. Now it's time to deploy your runes that will inscribe the heavens. 1 out of 100 attempts. On now. See how we get along. I sense an ominous force interfering with your progress. Could it be the samurai within you? Oh, possibly. Your 20th attempt, and you're still no closer than before. Perhaps it's I who needs to train more, so I don't accidentally give the talentless dreams they can never accomplish. 2, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I was under the impression that you were an adventurer renowned throughout the Middle Lands. Apparently, that appellation amounts to little more than kindling for the fires of one's boasting. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. My condolences, sir. 41. 42. 43. 44. 45. 46. 47. 48. 49. 50. Why don't you quit while you still have your health? Many people would commit atrocities for a body as hale and hearty as yours. 51. 52. 3. 54. 55. 56. 7. 58. 59. 60! Oh dear. Let me say this one thing. You may think you're special, but you're just as special as everyone else. That is to say, not at all. 61! 62! 63! 64! 65! 66! 67! 68! 69, 70. I lost hope for you long ago, but this was already your 70th attempt. Any further attempts would be a waste of time for us both. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79. 80. I'm amazed. 81. 82. 83. 84. 85. 86. 87. 88. 89. You've got to be kidding me. I'm amazed that 90 attempts. I have had enough of your incompetence. Let me spell this out loud and clear. You cannot use runes. 91. 92. 93. 94. 95. 96. 97. 98. 99. Are you kidding me? We hit 100? I might as well stick around to see if you can get an even 100. And I do it. Of course. I had no idea where we would stop. I didn't manage to hit all 100. My gosh. Oh, that's horrible. Congratulations on finally becoming a rune fencer. You refuse to think of yourself as refuse, and come out better thinking of for it. Coming out better for it. I look forward to the day when your true talents shine forth. I apologize if my words left you stressed instead of soothed. I contend that my intentions were truly altruistic. By the by, let me congratulate you once more. I may have been the fertilizer to your flower, but you would never have been able to blossom without your own ability. I assume the world looks slightly different to you now, seen as through the eyes of a rune fencer. What's this? How long until the rune's effects wear off? You need not worry about that, for it is simply a fallacy I perpetrated. I wanted to see if you had the fire in your belly to brave the searing pain of inscription and her defeats in heated combat that you are sure to become eventually. Furthermore, even someone as loquacious as me didn't have the time to spend on every adventure just looking to impress his comrades. At any rate, allow me to reiterate, your runic powers will not dissipate under any circumstances. However, that does not mean you shouldn't practice what you've learned. While yet unrefined, your power will prove quite useful to your quest to cultivate the wilds of Ulbuka. It is said that Svrfride, the father of runic inscription, created manifold techniques that were all based off his experience in battle. I look forward to seeing how closely you replicate his success. On that note, I believe the time has come to present you with this. It's a Swori Claymore, practice blade used by every rune fencer in the world. Just remember that while the sword may choose the sword fence, the rune fencer, it is the rune fencer who swings the sword, not the other way around. Enjoy what is to come, good sir, and may you be even stronger the next time we meet. Wonderful! Oh, did a little bit of a different troll there. So, what is the rune fencer's job ability emote? Job emote rune. Ooh! Very nice. Okay. So, now that that's done, we can go take a look and find Sylvie in Western Adeline at the waterfront. We still have time, so let's go unlock Geomancer too. Excuse me. There she is. Wait! My name's Sylvie. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Sorry, I'm an out-of-shape geomancer, and not a people person. Leiki Askamat himself has charged me with his most splendiferous of responsibilities to help him overcome my shortcomings. My task? Well, it's to help bring new geomancers into the fold. Yay! To tell the truth, the Order of Renee is kind of opposed to this whole pioneering thingamajig. But, if Adeline needs our assistance, we're going to do everything we can. Plus, East Nalbuka scenery scares me with its trees and rivers. Without geomancers to lend their aid, what hope does the land have? And you look like the geodancing type, right? Right? What? Yes, well, geomancers. You want to be one, don't you? Sorry, I'm not terribly good at this sort of thing. I'd like to give it a go. Oh, really? Well, how magnetabular? Never heard that word before. Word for the day. You're really sure? I mean, really sure? Hooray! Then let's roll up our sleeves and get started. First, a quiz. What's Adeline's oldest profession? That's right, geomancy. But, well, even though it is known for, well, since forever, it never really took off until much later. I'm a little fuzzy on the details. It's complicated. Something about the Sirens of Legend or the 5 disciples of Renee. Sorry, I can never keep this stuff straight. Oh wait, geomancy, right. Research into geomancy is a disciple started in Eastern Nalbuka as a way to counteract the dangers of nature, as it took place over many years. It's kind of similar to, yet totally different from, the pioneering efforts that occurred back then. What geomancy cares for is about having a heart-to-heart with nature. But that's at a really advanced level. Back then, only the best of the best could do it. Well, you know, natural forces can be a bit cheeky and don't like it when people try to expose their feelings. Eventually, the ancient geomancers realized that the answer wasn't to control the land, could you imagine, but rather let themselves be swept up by its current and borrow some of its strength. They call that current the life stream. The life stream flows within Mother Nature, kind of like how our blood flows through you and me. It's all around us, even right now. When we use the power of the life stream, it's called using geomantic incantations, or simply geomancy. Confusing, right? I know you threw me for a loop, having two words mean the same thing. There are two types of geomancy. Power originating from the geomancer herself, known as Indi, and power originating from the mystic emanation known as a Luopan is called Geo. Heike Azamat says that ancient geomancers gave names to all these terms to help people understand, but also thinks that it's easier to just see for yourself. Like an old saying, you know, a picture is worth two of the bush, or something. Sorry, I'm really bad at this. Come on, you know what I mean. If you can get your hands wet, you'll learn more than I could blab on about for hours. So, in order to handle the excellentaciousness of geomancy, you first need a Luopan. Luopans are essentially for being a world-class geomancer. They're like a loyal pet, until death do you part. Except Luopans don't run away one afternoon when you're 7 years old, leaving you crying on your front doorstep. Of course, most geomancers can't use Luopans right after they become one. Become geomancers, I mean. Lunch is over. Ready to get down and dirty? Yes. This is stupendous delicious. Let's get this party started before you bail on me. Sophie. Getting the materials for a Luopan is really simple, so I know you'll be up for it. You'll need two things: one petrified log and a fistful of homeland soil. A Luopan is a medium for you to get all friendly with nature. That's why you need the fistful of homeland soil. You're from the Middlelands, not Adeline, so to make a really super duper one, you really should get from the area of your homeland where energies flow through the soil. That's all you need. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Just come back to me when you've got them. So, in that case, I need to head back to Sandoria, because that's my home nation. Stuck on geometry. Are you guys like shopkeepers? Ooh! I have some things that I need to toss away. Bat fangs, the bat wings, the color cocoon, flame geode, light, freeze geode, Harry Crabsta, the aqueous poison. Okay. So it says here that for Sandoria, I really should go to Lathine Plateau. All right. Fastest way to do that for me, probably, is actually... Why am I walking? Can you just warp? Do a waypoint and get to the book in the eastern Adeline and warp myself to Lathine Plateau. So climb Lathine Plateau. Thankfully, I have to go to the crag, so I'm not making a giant trip. Someone's on top of Fenrir. Cool. At some point, we'll get around to doing the summoner stuff. Lathine Plateau. Very familiar to me since I've been doing since I did the Abyss stuff there. Okay, now I have to go to leading up to the tell point. So there's one right there. Dismount. Guy riding a crab. Okay, got our fistful of homeland soil. Okay, so we need to get a petrified log as well. I believe I don't have one. Let's take a quick gander and see if I do. If not, I'll just have to buy one. New house. Case. Got that. Nope. Gonna have to go get one. It's annoying, but... We'll head right back to where we were. Go talk to the auction house. Did anything of myself? Oh, 4 things didn't sell. That's great. Well, they'll just sit in my inventory. That's my delivery box. That's fine. Let's see. We need materials. We need woodworking, I would guess. All the way down to petrified log. How much are people chanting? Oh, 10,000. That's cheap. Yeah, we're gonna go to 10. Work our way down to 8. Might as well skimp a little bit. Got it for 8. Wonderful. Now. Back to Sylvie. Came back for a remainder of what we need for your Luopon? No. Actually, I'm ready to go. Petrified log. Right, all you needed was the perfect combination of a petrified log and a fistful of Homeland Alert soil. All right, let me have at it. And oh no, whew. Oh, ugly umbrals, I almost had a heart attack. Sorry about that. Here's your fresh, shiny Luopon. Yes, fresh and shiny. And not yet done. It's gotta get an Ergon Locust next. It's only in these places, deeply connected with nature herself, that your Luopon will be able to display its immense power. Ah, Ergon Locust, right. It's like I told you, places filled with natural power. Though, even though they exist throughout Vana'diel, here in Adoulin we call them Ergon Loci. You came into contact with them in the Middlelands, I'm sure. Depending on the era and locale, some of them go by different names, I guess. One of the fruits, low-hanging fruits perhaps, of this pioneering Who's a Whatsits is that we've discovered Ergon Loci in the Yahtzee hunting grounds and the Zizek battlegrounds. I gotta be honest with you, as a geomancer, I'm not a big fan of messing with nature, but sometimes you gotta take the long-term view, you know? This whole tug-of-war between nature and progress has always defined what Adoulin is. Oh, listen to me. That was totally deep, right? Where were we? Oh, right, Ergon Loci. Bring your Luopon to one of these loci and remain calm and steady. Like this, see? You gotta be focused, or else it won't work. It's the first step in becoming one with nature. Let the life stream gently flow into your Luopon. You'll get all hot and bothered, though you'll see when it's happening. This is another one of those two-in-the-bush things. And just when you think you've had all you can stand and are about to explode, you'll finish and feel the warm embrace of release. That was horribly... I mean, anybody with a dirty mind can just immediately speculate something else. I'll have to touch up your Luopon when you're done, so make sure to come back. You know, the forest isn't the friendliest of locations. I'd hate for anything to happen to your precious Luop... to you. There you have it. Now get going. Gosh. Now it says here, it could take a whole amount of like 8 minutes to charge. I hope it doesn't take 8 minutes. That's gonna be boring as heck. Oh well. Luckily, there's actually a fairly quick way we get there. So we're going to go to Zizek Battlegrounds. I know that area the best, so. One that they say here is that there's either Bud of the Swarm, which I've been to, or we can do Flourishing Island, which I have been to, but it wasn't when I first arrived in the expansion is when I visited, not knowing what it was. So. So I myself don't really understand geomancy itself. We're going to get into that eventually, so I'm not too concerned. Look at all these people leveling up on the blanched Mandragoras. and someone's here. Seemingly unlocking this as well. I'm assaulted by an uncanny situation. Yep, they are brand new. They're getting geomancy unlocked. Okay, so I think it will tell me when I have a message. You feel a mystical warmth welling up in you. The mystical warmth welling up inside you. Okay. And now we wait. Oh, I did want to let you guys know, and this is partly to let you guys know as well as something to fill the void while I wait here for this to work. I went to get my prescriptions filled and talked with the doctor, and we're going to try a new medication to replace one that I have and see if it is more effective. So, if you notice me behaving a little differently or something, or that's the reason why. I don't expect it to be as big a change as, like having to cancel streams or anything like that. I don't expect anything like that to happen. Though, still possible. Just highly unlikely as far as he and the doctor, as far as myself and the doctor were aware. But I'm hoping that'll be a good change, honestly. I've been on the same medication for over a decade, and I felt one of them was not quite doing the workload it needed to. So we're doing a small change. Not doing a dosage change. I'm already at the max dose that my current prescription has available. So we're going to try a similar kind of medication that has a little bit of a difference to it. The chemistry's a little different, so anyway. The last so different change of subject. Man, I cannot talk to that. We've had some interesting time at the house recently. Last Wednesday, people came over, kind of hang out with us. Someone was here for like half the day, almost literally. Stayed up long into the night, just chatting about whatever kind of came to our minds and having laughs and stuff like that. It's really nice. We had people come over last night to make Christmas cookies, and I've been partially eating some of them over the day. Oops. But it was awfully nice to just have more people in the house, because even though there's 4 of us living here, myself included, we all kind of keep to ourselves. 2 of us kind of stay in our rooms for the most part. The other 2 of us are working. I'll be working eventually at some point. If this darn background check could just finish up. And then, but we all kind of keep to ourselves. The only time we really see each other is if we need to converse with one another, or if we catch each other at meal times, which doesn't always happen. It's gonna be a little odd for the next week or so, because 2 of my roommates are gonna be out of town. I think the 3rd one is out of town as well, but he's not gonna be gone as long. One of them is gone until like the 28th or so, and one of them is gone until New Year's Day. So the house is gonna be far more quiet than normal. Even more than it already is. So it'll be interesting. But I mean, it is kind of nice that they're able to get away for the holidays to see family and stuff like that. I know that not everybody can do that. Not everybody has the means or the ability to do so. So I'm happy for them that they're able to do that. I do feel really lucky that my family is relatively close, honestly. Okay. I don't know. How many minutes have we wasted now? 2? Maybe 3? Oh, what do you know? I just had to jinx it. I just had to talk back about it, and I was done. Sweet. That's awfully good timing too. I didn't know what else to talk about. I probably was going to talk about games that looked interesting to me that I've heard about, as well as games that I really want to get into, as well as ones that I'd like to play but don't have a whole lot of following on Twitch because they're fairly indie. So anyway, something I need to be doing over the next week, I think. Well, there's a couple of things I want to do before the year is done. One, I wanted to try and go back through all of my previous VODs and get them put into playlists for people to browse, as well just for organization more or less. Two, I want to go through the rest of my library, my gaming library, and figure out games that have a fairly big following on Twitch, and kind of get them separated. So I currently have things organized by how long it takes to beat games or complete games, so I get an idea of how much of a time investment it is. But I also am now going to be putting games to a list of to a streaming priority. So then they are games that I will consider first for stream before others. Any game that's actually really small, I don't know. I might play on my own if it doesn't seem like a game particularly interesting to watch, that I would think wouldn't be particularly interesting to watch. One way or another. There's going to be a lot of games that I'm going to be getting into. I have yet to decide what kind of game to get into for the beginning of next year. I'm hoping that we would get done with Heartspace Shipbreaker before we had to continue on with anything else. We're still going to keep with Final Fantasy XI, but I might add a third game in. I don't know. It is nice just to having to handle just 2 games, more or less. This is positively moment terrific. Let me get a good look. There. I applied a thin astral patina to your Luopon to keep on in tip-top shape. Now you can use it in your geometric adventures. You know, Hickey said that this Luopon business was brought by Adeline 10-something years ago by a woman from abroad. Quite the convenience, wouldn't you say? She also said that same woman taught us about the waypoints. I don't know much more about that. Sorry, I was rambling again, wasn't I? Anyway, you can't actually use this Luopon to its full extent unless you become a more experienced geomancer. I'll look at you with those sad eyes. Fear not, it won't be long before you've mastered both parts of geomancy. Don't tell me that you've got what they are already. Fine, let's review. Any spells are energy centered around the geomancer, while geospells are energy centered around the Luopon. It's probably easier if I just show you. This is Indy. And this is Geo. Those more experienced in the waves of the Geomancer get to use both at once. Not a bad deal if you ask me. As an aside, the fields created by Indy and Geo are collectively known as colures. When you use the term Indy and Geo, you're simply using the short forms of Indy colures and Geo colures. There's probably a lot to take in. Don't lose heart though. You'll be a magnificent Geomancer before you know it. And now, by the powers vested in me, I declare you Geomancer and Luopon. Ah, wait. All this time, and I never even asked your name. Death, it was a pleasure working with you. Well, all you've done to get this far, you must be itching for some kind of prize. Normally, the Luopon itself would be enough, Well, you've been such a good sport that I got you a little gift. This is called a geomantic handbell. With it, you can bring out the true strength of your geomancy spells. Just don't forget to equip it and leave it in your back pocket like the last issue. And another present for you. This plate of indie poison is your first official weapon in your geomantic arsenal. Make sure you use it wisely. Thanks for putting up with a ditzy klutz like me all this time. Maybe one day you'll become as fantabulous as a geomancer as I am. And you got geomancy. And what do you know? 10 minutes until the next day. Wonderful timing. Okay, so in terms of equipment, I actually want to grab a couple things. We're going to go to our mock wardrobe, and we're going to grab the claymore, and we're going to grab the matcha bell. I'm going to put those in there, because I don't want to lose them. We're going to also take the... I think it's my satchel. Yes. And we're going to take this indie poison and stick it in the satchel. Well, I actually have two. I got indie malaise while fighting something. And indie poison. Poisons enemies near the caster and gradually loses their MP. So you basically get an aura of poison put around you. Interesting. Now, I didn't know a whole lot about geomancy. Apparently, the geomancy stuff is extremely good. If you have a well-geared geomancer, they could be as good at nuking as a black mage. And they could be as good as healing as a white mage. They're amazingly good. And I've actually had people with a geomancy subclass help me with stuff, and bammo, did they kill things. Wow. All right. Now, where do we need to go? We needed to go to... we need to go talk to Lavelle. So, Western... Pioneers thing. Poof, here we go. We'll continue on with the story. We only have 2 jobs I need to unlock, and they're from Scholar and Dancer. So we will get to those at some point. Lavelle! Janet, perfect timing as always. I've heard you made an appearance at one of the ruling class's post-colloquy banquets, have you not? Well, that certainly would explain it. And with that, and with the way you've been cozying up to our dear princess of late, it only makes sense. But let me share with you something juicy. Ingrid of the Order of Weatherspoon is due to return to Adoulin from a brief sojourn to the Middlelands. Don't be fooled by her fair complexion and youthful attire. She is one of the Order's most respected exorcists, with capabilities far beyond her years. What's an exorcist? You got rocks for brains? Let me see if I can explain this in the simplest terms possible. Undead? Bad. No undead? Good. I suppose it's a bit more complicated than that. An exorcist is a white mage who focuses not on the path of rest and respite, but rather on smiting the wicked with divine fury. All Adoulin taught learned that these conjurers have their roots in the sorceress studies of the first head of Weatherspoon. Weatherspoon. As is often seen, techniques were passed from progenitor to progeny, proving useful time and again until the citizenry of our fair city bore the exorcist naught but respect. A little holy here, a little bandage there, and bam! Throughout the ages, there have always been exorcists with strong connections to the Order of Weatherspoon. Is that the reason why undead do not accost our fair city? The world may never know. You know how foot soldiers guard bigwigs. That's the role exorcists play here in Adoulin. The leader of these spiritualist-turned-soldiers is the High Exorcist, Voltimir, an enigma to much of the city. What I'm about to tell you comes directly from his lips. What would Ingrid want with me? Right. As I mentioned, Ingrid is the most accomplished exorcist around. That's high praise in and of itself. But she's also drop-dead gorgeous. Her personality is, however, a bit... how can I put this? Abrasive? One tenet of an exorcist's creed is that the wicked shall know no succor, and Ingrid takes this so much to extreme that the less diplomatic call her Ingrid the Merciless. But let's keep that just between us. What would Miss Merciless want with me? gone completely mad? Don't say that too loud, or they'll come for me too. If your aim was to chop 5 years off my life, you've done an admirable job. But back to the matter at hand. Ingrid expressed the desire to see more of the world, so she made a pilgrimage of sorts to the Middle Lands. But something urgent came up, and now she's back en route to Adolin. Vortimer said that you have taken a stroll down to the airship docks and greet Ingrid when she arrives. Perhaps you're wondering why he chose you. To be honest, I asked myself the same thing. Must not be my place to know. But a request is a request, and here we are ourselves talking this lovely day. Once she arrives, you are to accompany her to Adolin Castle. Yes, the castle, not the Order of Weatherspoon Manse. It vexes me too, but Vortimer said to escort her directly there. Real exorcist? Yes! I'm sure her vessel will arrive at any moment, so you'd best hurry. She certainly would not take too kindly to be kept waiting. I made sure she knows who to look for. I'll send word to the castle, so they'll be expecting you. Off you go, then! Oh boy. So, apparently, this was bad enough that Vortimer wanted to bring her back from her sojourn, try and help with the prince. I can't imagine this going particularly well. 4, I think, is where we need to go. Nope, it looks like we go right to the castle itself. Oh, that was Skylar Girl. That's one of the people in my link shell. Nice gal. Let's back up a little bit. Maybe I need to back up a little bit and then approach. Oh, I need to go. I actually do need to go to the airship docks. I don't know how it's skipped. Yep, wharf. Must just accidentally skipped ahead. That's fine. I must have gone to the wrong place. The airship docks or waypoint 8. Yeah, I definitely went to the wrong. I went to the wharf. There we go. Nope. Wrong again. Oh, I remember. I think I remember now. Nope, I don't. Nope, I don't. I don't remember. H4. Oh, West Adolin, that's why. My gosh. Where am I tonight? Clearly got other things on my mind, yet I don't know what they are. Airship docks. There we go. There's our cutscene. I can't move. You must be Janeth. Yes, your name is known to me. As you have no doubt surmised, I am Ingrid of the Order of Weatherspoon. You mean Ingrid the Merciless? Ingrid the Merciless? Here I thought only natives of Adeline called me that. Pray tell, who did you hear that from? Go on, I promise not to be angry. I'm not saying that. It is of little consequence. Long have I known people call me by that moniker. But let me ask you this. Why should any mercy be shown to those who have turned their backs on the goddess? Let all Adeline be in accord. I am merciless through and through. All who face my judgment shall not even have one speck of ash left. Shall not even have one speck of ash left. What's the calling of an exorcist if not to obliterate the defiled from the face of Adeline? And I will not stop there. No, I intend on the name Ingrid the Merciless being rung throughout the Middlelands as well. But I have no time for idle chatter. I must make haste for Castle Adeline. Nor do I need you to take me there. Why? Petulant child, because I am the chosen girl of the Order of Weatherspoon. Girl? It is not your place to ask such questions. Why am I asking all these stupid things? Come on, I don't want to get myself blasted. As I said earlier, enough prattling. I have visited the castle countless times in the past. You haven't heard anything about my mission, have you? Not one whit. Then you must also be unaware of what precipitates my return. I, the greatest extortionist from all of Obuka, was summoned back because of none other than... Black Sheep of Adeline himself. Heard word about him becoming cursed into some pitiful form. Cooler heads always prevail, and thus it falls to me to see if this nonsense is true. The missive I received stated that the Founder's King's curse had been made manifest, but I have my doubts. I should not be so outwardly skeptical. If Vormir says it was a curse, then it probably is. And yet again, it falls to someone else to clean up one of Ignis's messes. I thought he had his head on straight until he started this colonization nonsense. But now... that matters little at this juncture. Pandora's box has been opened, and Vormir is right. We must see this through to its natural conclusion. Unlike Hildebert, who views it as an abominable farce, I know that it's the direction we are headed, good or for ill. Pray listen, adventurer. You must understand, having come to our fair city to serve as a pioneer of your own volition. No matter what barriers stand before us, we must resolve to destroy them at any cost. Our aim is to press onwards, even if we must violently uproot them. Just as our ancestors did during the Great Expedition. Are you familiar with this time in Adeline's history? Of course. Answer does not convince me, but I am loath to tell you something you may already know. Allow me to give you a brief lesson. Colonization was attempted in additional time after the Founder's King's first foray all those years ago. Several centuries past, there was another effort to pioneer the mainland. This period of history is known as the Great Expedition. The words of the Founder King grew faint over time. But what do you think happened? A struggle of power between the orders. It was a time of unbridled strife and conflict. Each order attempted to seize power, and the ground turned red with blood as they feverishly rushed to populate the mainland. History is always seen through the eyes of the victor, but as each order considered themselves the winner, we have no fewer than 12 whitewashed versions of what really happened. Those who regale you with the tales of bravery and bravado are completely blind to the corruption of the darkness. No, they actually turned their backs to it. Those of Abuka who took one cautious step into the wild suffered at the claws of the dread spirits and demons that appear as if from the underworld. And while the squabbling took place in the city proper, who was it that rose above this madness to save our kin? The exorcists. Humanity has no future if it lives in constant fear of demons and curses. Forgive me for boring you. It is not my place to bring internal struggles to your ears. I know you are here for one reason and one reason alone. Money. As long as you remember not to get in our way, you can expect an amiable relationship with me. But while I have your attention, I have heard other curious things about you, namely, that you were able to converse with our dear Grand Chancellor despite his current state. Well, that certainly is something. It may sound crass, but no one is interested in you as a person. They're interested in what you and this strange power can do for us. Your task is to interpret for me. For that reason, and that reason alone, I shall tolerate your presence. Come, they are waiting. I still don't think this is going to be a good idea, but they'll do what they will. And then we'll clean up the mess. And here's our cutscene. Jedith, why must someone of such questionable moral character? Why bring someone of such questionable moral character to this assembly? The Order of Adolin remains yet the leader of our alliance, with a strong lineage tracing back to the founder king. Why would you summon a mere commoner, and one from a foreign land at that? Seem to win over the hearts of the nobility, Take a brief moment to listen away from your eyes. Hildebert, there's no reason to work yourself into a tizzy. You are well aware that we attempted to use Rolicia's Pome, which we received from the Queen of the Leafkin. And in the end, none of us were able to communicate with Ignis. No, Jedith was the only one to do so. Well, Arcelia was too. Dear Svenja, you let yourself be taken in by this mockery of our orders. What proof do we have that he wasn't just sprouting dribble to serve his own ends? He certainly did not seem to be lying to me. No, Jedith seems like a young man who is not constrained by selfish pride, but rather has the courage to know when to listen. Oh, my dear Svenja, you seem to have quite the opinion of our enigmatic friend. But darkness of the heart often lies well hid. Are you sure trusting one such as he is prudent? Not to say, of course, that I disbelieve him. No, it is through Jedith that we learn about Ignis' condition, as well as the Middle Lands themselves. Their armies, politics, economy. We cannot sit forever on this little island playing fifth fiddle to the rest of Vana'diel. On that, I dare say you are mistaken. Oh? About what? I do not wish to speak ill of Jedith, but the situation is not so simple. Lest you forget, Arcelia is also able to hear Ignis' voice. Well, And yet she chose to leave Jedith with that for which Rosalita bequeathed. Rosalita gave it to Jedith, not to me. Hildebert, Melvian, my trust in Jedith is not mere whimsy. If Arcelia believes in him, then so shall I. Sometimes I stop and catch myself pondering what this all means. What if all this were a challenge posed to us by the Founder King? In the countless years since his passing, how has Adolin changed and evolved? That one of his bloodline should be transformed into a lesser being right as colonization recommenced. We may be struggling against a current stronger than ourselves. That's why I wonder if we are being tested. Tested? By whom? I do not know. Perhaps by fate itself. While my sarcasm comes back to haunt me, you appear to have some allies within these walls. The real trial will come right as we pass through these doors. I've heard all I need to do. Well, let us see how useful you really are. I have returned from the Middlelands, and it appears everyone is already assembled. Dispense with the pleasantries. Show me to Yignis. Far be it from me to doubt one of my own order, but how much can you tell from such a simple gesture? I must confess my surprise at your doubt. I speak only as the goddess guides me. Tell me, do you doubt her wisdom? Forgive me if my words seem brazen, Hildebert. But back to the matter at hand. What has befallen Yignis is most certainly some form of curse. Then it is as we suspected. Indeed. And though it is no ordinary curse, I am inclined to believe that it is not born from the Founder King. Jeez. But I cannot put words. Jedith, you talk to me now. May not able longer. Yes, adventurer. Has Yignis spoken to you? You say this, in fact, the curse of the Founder King? And what basis have you for contradicting me? So it is, after all. How your mind changes on every whim, like a leaf upon the breeze. Now, 5 minutes ago, you were singing a different tune. You were spying on us from outside the door? Never took you for one who only hears when he wants to. That is not the case at all. Just there's no need to break the curse. Silence, outsider. You have no place interjecting your opinions into this dialogue. Your only job is to tell us what he is saying. It matters not who placed the curse upon Yignis. Only a grand ritual of purging will be able to rid such a terrible affliction. But unfortunately what, Ingrid? Such a purgation requires materials that I do not have on hand. Vandal only exists thanks to the blessings of 8 crystals. To penetrate darkness, we need a vessel wrapped in the power of the 7 other types. I have on hand thunder, ice, and light, and would ask you to procure earth, water, fire, and wind for me. And what exactly would suffice? They must be things bathed in a holy glow. Let me think. Yes, a piece of stone wall touched by a light of dawn, holy water untainted by impurity, a flame that has gone unextinguished for 7 years, the wings of a weather vane that has stood the test of time. I require each of those 4 things. And of course, we have someone who is more than willing to serve as our errand boy. Is that not right, Jedith? Return here once you have the appropriate items, and I will begin the ritual. Until that time, I shall make preparations. That girl has some nerve. Jedith, I would ask you to look after Arcelia. Why? I need not tell you why he always runs headfirst into danger. As you wish. Jedith, it is good to see you here. I came as soon as I heard that Ingrid was to examine my brother. Since everyone has already left, how did the ritual go? What about the curse and purging? You're going to perform a purging ritual? I see. So Ingrid feels that it is a curse after all. But not the Founder King's. Ignis's voice faltered. What? But that could only mean that his voice What could mean that his voice faltered? Arcelia? My brother began to show symptoms right at the call went out for adventurers from the Middlelands. It started out as a simple rash. He said it might have been something he picked up in the forest. He was still of human form, talking to me just like when we were younger. I can still hear his voice. And then, slowly, he turned into what we see him as today, eventually losing all powers of speech. And to think, even though we were able to communicate with him telepathically, now, does that mean the curse is still progressing? That this is at the end? Might he turn into a Leafkin for good? Easy, we don't know what we're going to do. Easy, we don't know about that. Let's figure out what we can do. You were too kind to me. You're right. It would not do for me to sit there and stew. Sit here and stew. If we're going to help find the materials needed for this purging, then let me come with you. I'd do anything for my brother to see my brother whole again. Just let me know whatever you need. Okay, so we need to talk to somebody to get the Eternal Flame. We need to find Rigobertine. What's over here? It's a Desale. That's a keen body you got going on, tough guy. Oh, I don't mean it in a cat scratch fever type of way. I just mean that you've got more of an aura about you than the Kujians running around these parts. You're from the Middlelands, ain't ya? Yep. Huh, what do you know? Oh well, it ain't my concern. What does concern me is your prowess as a pioneer. I almost forgot to introduce myself. As I always say, it's trust that funds good business. Wink. The name's Ruja Desale, and selling goods is my game. It's just a run-of-the-mill merchant from the teensiest of the southern islands. In all my years on the Lam, I ain't never seen a continent so wild as this one. Ardonia, Quan, Ardagia, they're so overcrowded compared to this place. It always pays to be foist on the scene. Oh, it sounds like it's one of those New York accents. I can't tell you which one. Don't ask me, and don't call me out on it. Pays to be foist on the scene. You got to make your own rules, see? That's like make a hop to ship as soon as they were looking for pioneers. But I really didn't expect it to play out the way they did. Walking about the Coronal Esplanade, I bumped into a Taru by the name of Chero Machero. I swear his lips flapped faster in the west wind. His sense for dough was spot on. After we talked shop for a while, I found out that he's big cheese and out of it. Ain't gonna be no better bark than this, I reasoned, so as I purred my heart out, made him a cat's paw, and now I's peddling under the oida of Goini name. Don't go blabbing all this over the sweet. I'd have to send you a message through the mouth, if you know what I mean. Let's say I'm running on the level operation thanks to an Adeline noble's good graces. That ought to do it. You keep it at that, and I won't bring in the enforcers. You don't want to hear the whole history of Runja, do ya? This ain't no shakedown, but if you got any curios, the local histories behind them, I'm all ears. Trade me one, and I'll bring you in tribute for some fat cat bailed. Now bugger off unless you got something for me. Hello, Jiosuke. Who are you? Crick! Okay, so we need to go to the southeast corner of the northern alley in Colonial Esplanade. Probably right next to the thing. Southeast. Oh, it's probably down at the bottom. What do you know? Here, we'll grab 3. Oh, it is back up there. I went down thinking that the ramp up and down was the Colonial Esplanade. It's not. It's the area up there. Silly me. Whom I look for again? Rigobertine. Northern alley. Okay, so the northern alley of it. Oh, hang on a second. I need to talk to Claude Rishbach, who is the gate order. That's right. Receive a list of required items. Christoph has left me a message for you. You are to gather 4 items that have been touched by the divine. Perhaps you start by gathering information from the other exorcists. They will do the utmost to uphold Ingrid's wishes. The Brent's manse is not far from here. Since you pay his order a visit and see what information you can glean. I need to stop running ahead on the quests so I actually can get them done. I just ran around for 5 minutes there with my head cut off. Jeez. Labertine. Rigobertine. Here we go. Ah, yes, my dear adventurer, come. We have been expecting you. Vortimir himself has bid me hold on to something for you. Here, this eternal flame. This flame was bequeathed unto us by Mo Rahimi, a geomancer who lived many ages ago. No evil force may come within several yalms of this blessed heat, and thus has been burned brightly without fail for years. I can tell the fact that exorcists and geomancers once worked together confounds you. We exorcists answer to a divine providence, yet do not define everything in black and white terms. I have some information for you on the other vessels which Ingrid bid you acquire. Some research suggests that the stone wall touched by a light of dawn has something to do with Adolin's port district. Sailors and captains of our fair city have a custom of honoring the morning sun. As such, many of our vessels contain the words dawn in their name. And as for the holy water untainted by impurity, I believe that it is located in the fountain of Western Adolin's Plaza. Fountain's water is taken directly from the Rala waterworks underneath Adolin proper, so it is both pure and clean. Unfortunately, we are at a loss as to where the wings of a weather vane that has stood the test of time might be. However, we have contacted the scouts to gather intelligence. It's just that you first head over to the fountain to begin your search. So, we're going to go head over to the fountain. Which is a little funny that it says that is where it's both clean and pure, but when we went down to where that section of the underwater gardens was, they said that it still was kind of dirty work. His words, not mine. So I find that a little odd to say. Unless it was a specific section of waterways that had been kind of pulled through to make the water kind of gross. And the rest of the waterways is actually still very clean. So. Okay, Western Adolin. So we'll go to the Platea Triumphus. Vial of untainted holy water. Right. Now we need to go to the Adolin. We need to go down to the Adolin waterfront. There's supposed to be something along here that is the Sunrise Beacon. Storage on the tower. Aha! There it is. Okay, and then we need to talk to near the castle gates to get the weather vanes. Back towards the castle gates. You find Erminold. Erminold, where are you? Ah, there he is. Well, what have we here? You must be the pioneer after that weather vane. Me? The owner? Surely you jest. I'm just the hired help. But I do indeed have what you seek. One of the older groundskeepers told me this piece was quite the history behind it. But it's seen better days and has remained in storage for as long as I've been here. Back many years ago, the northern wind blew towards Adolin for the first time in centuries, carrying upon it a ravaging plague. This vane alerted the citizenry to its coming. Of course, we now have remedies to combat such a disease, as old things seen better days. So, well, I needn't state the obvious. Needless to say, no one could bear the part with something that saved so many lives. That's why it's been buried away here for so long. Make sure you treat her well. Here? Absolutely. Sanus, Florida, man! Please come on in. I appreciate you joining me for this. Okay. We're on to the purgation. You actually made it back in a reasonable time frame. Must admit to being mildly impressed. Not that this puts you in my good graces, but Ingrid the Merciless knows to give credit where credit is due, adventurer from the Middlelands. Now that all my implements are here, there is naught to do but perform the purgation. Ooh! Ow! Plus, I had hoped that... Darn it. It is as we feared. Such a strong curse can only be the work of the Founder King. You all believe me now? This self-absorbed girl could not dispel the darkness around Yignis. Founder's King's will has spoken. Cannot deny the intensity of this affliction. Perhaps my confidence got the better of me. This requires an even more elaborate ritual. I must depart to ponder this further, but I'll be ready next time. So you've failed. I must apologize for my inadequacy, Lord Vortimir. No need, my dear. No need to be sorry. You need not be sorry. But why? This is the perfect opportunity, Ingrid. The more rituals we conduct, the more our influence grows. But do not fail me again. Should our authority come into question, all we have done will have been for naught. Fear not, Lord Vortimir. I have no intention of losing face twice. Our calling as exorcist is to rid Adolin of forces most fiendish and foul. This is a task that must be entrusted to us and no other. Just think back to the time of the Great Expedition. How valued we were then, and how valued we will be again. Colonization must continue, and yet there are many that would see it falter. Iki Asgamat dares not open her mouth, owing to the recent events at the Colosseum. Too many of the other leaders remain hard-headed. Ingrid, a question. Of course. You saw the Grand Chancellor up close. Were you able to... No, I did not have the opportunity. I thought you of all people would have been able to understand. I suspected they would blather on about the Founder King's curse, but this... Pay no further attention. We have more pressing matters to attend to. I had not expected that girl to turn out to be such a threat. It matters not whether she's telling the truth or lying about being able to hear Ignis's voice, but no matter. Her getting in our way is inevitable. Oh man, there's daggers aplenty in this court now, isn't there? Jedith, whatever shall we do? Don't break the curse. I can feel it. It's something dread in this way. Death, is my brother saying something? The key, right there, lead you. The Ignis? Rosaltia Pome begins to fade, taking Ignis's voice along with it. Dad, tell me, what did my brother say? He was pointing right at me. A key? To lead us? What could he have meant? Oh, my dear, do you not see? The answers are in front of you, plain as day. But still, you never desired colonization. By pointing at you, he meant that he should follow your true desires. It can only mean that you must respect the will of the Founder King. That would be a great mistake to pursue colonization any further. But no, a clever trick, Hildebert. But pray tell me, is that the only explanation? Could it not mean that Ignis wishes Arcelia to continue colonization in his stead? He may be wishing for her to become the standard bearer of colonization. Your instinct goes too far this time, Melvian. Insolence? No, I have only used the most deductive of reasoning. Countless hours have I spent poring over Tome's annals, dating back to our very first colonization efforts. You admitted fool, who are you to look down on the Founder's King's dying words? The lesson that the Great Expedition taught us was that the only way to appease him is to honor his spirit. What we must do is cast off this ridiculous premise of rituals and purgations, and revere the Founder King as he demands. Just as we did back then, we must go and reseal his tomb once more. Hildebert, it is wholly inappropriate for you to make rash statements in such a place. Perhaps you are right. It makes me wonder. Do you not feel that the circumstances surrounding our colonization efforts are quite different from those of the Great Expedition? Do we even have the time or money to appease the spirit? Time or money? I imply nothing, my dear Hildebrand, only that the Minister of Finance, we must undertake all things with due caution. Though many remember the Great Expedition for its ultimate failure, at the time Adeline was able to receive much from the bounty of the wilds. Should you doubt my words, I bid you head to the Selenium Memorial Library and read for yourself. Do so, and you will understand why I staunchly support the colonization initiative. Our nation has waned in influence since those grand times, though I fear such words will not sway you now. And you would dare turn a matter of faith into one of coin? You and your kind are a blight on this land. Nothing could be farther from the truth. No, I cannot in good conscience support policies predicted on our people dying of hunger and languishing in the streets. Are you mocking me? This isn't about you. This is about not being able to wring blood from a stone. Both of you, stop, please. Please, just stop. So it seems like the point of they keep bumping heads with each other, and Arcelia feels unable to make headway, or yeah, it's just the key. That's our next mission. Oh, wait until next game day. Bowie. Okay, well, we do have something we can do. Let's go ahead and do a couple of we still have enough room to do a couple of assignments. Let's go ahead and tackle that. My throat is feeling a little sore. It's the wrong place, actually. I went to the Pioneers because we're supposed to talk to LaVille next. Of course, I'm grabbing the wrong thing again. Waypoint. I just autopilot myself to a home point rather than a waypoint. We got into probationer. Congratulations, but you're not out of the woods yet. So that's unlocked new stuff for us. Go ahead and bring up the coalition assignments. So frontline support is what we had, which is bringing supplies to a frontier bivouac. We have a supply delivery, which is coming back from a bivouac. And we have base provisions, which probably can't be done anymore. I'm gonna take a coalition. Can we do base provisions? Assignments for you to undertake. We can't do base provisions because all of them have been built. All of them have been completed. So. Let's see. And it actually has a thing here. Right. So basically they made it so then base provisions could only be done if the frontier station hadn't been built, which they all have been, so you can't do them anymore. And the supply delivery and the frontline support couldn't be done until the frontier station had been established. So, as a petitioner, we actually can't do anything new as a probationer. We have to wait until we get Disciple, which we can then do other stuff. So now I understand why it was talking about when you had to do all the unique assignments, why it cut out certain courier ones, because certain courier ones can't be done anymore because of that reason. So looks like we're stuck on doing the Battlegrounds one, which is not a bad thing necessarily. So we'll run this a couple times, and by that point we should be able to get to the get into the next day, and we continue on. So thinking about it, I could probably let me think this through for a second. I want to look up weapons for a moment. Because I think there's a couple things that I can get set up in terms of job-related stuff. So hang on a second. I need to look at what's I gonna look at? I was gonna look at yes. So I could actually use the Survivor if I leveled up Rune Fencer a little bit. Yeah, we won't worry about that this time. I am going to need to spend some of those crystals that I've gotten into some of this other stuff, though. my thinking was, let me explain what I was thinking. I was thinking of actually going and doing the thing, going to the Mog House, changing to a low-level job, turning in, running back, and doing the whole thing. But thinking about that, kind of boring. That's something I can easily do another time, off stream. So. All right. Oh, pardon me. We're actually getting really close to finishing up here, so I think last thing we'll do is we'll go and check out a couple things for our get our equipment set up for the couple jobs that we got that we just unlocked. So, man, I cannot talk tonight. So bad. All right. Rent a room. Rune Fencer. Strips me down to nothing at all. Basic Claymore. Okay. I want to make sure I got that done. Equipment related. Did I not have an item that I needed to put in there? I thought I did. Yeah, she gave me a matron bell. Did she not? Oh, it might be for different slots. Aha! It is a ranged item. Do it. All right. So, the item in difference that we're going to put there could be the Ash Club, could be the Ash Staff. It doesn't really matter at this point. All things considered. It's not mean that much. Okay, got those set up. Are there any other jobs that I haven't gotten really done? Doesn't matter. I'm a little over what we've been doing. So we've been going for about 3 hours and 20 minutes. Honestly, I feel kind of tired at the moment. Still haven't fully recovered. So, when we next get back into the game, I will be working on doing more in terms of continue on with the story, I think. So, I'm going to go ahead and throw myself back on my ninja. Just so I have that ready, because tomorrow I probably will work on some Abyssea stuff. One way or another. Anyway, I would like to thank everybody for watching. I really do appreciate you guys being here. I hope you have a fun week planned out. I've got some things planned out myself. So, once again, I will not be streaming on Wednesday or Thursday. Friday I might be. I don't know yet. One way or another. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing for the time being so far. So, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching. If you were not able to catch the stream live, go ahead and go to the YouTube page. I still need to put an alert in the chat that will give me a link to the YouTube page. So I will go ahead and do that tonight after stream ends. I hope you guys have a good week, and I will see you guys tomorrow, where we get into Hard Space Shipbreaker once again, where we continue our way on and see how much further we get into the story. Things have gotten kind of lousy, but we're just going to kind of work our way through it and see where it takes us. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good night, and I hope your week goes well in turn. I will see you guys for tomorrow night for our stream, and possibly for Fridays. But until then, I will see you guys whenever I see you next. Whenever you catch me, is up to you. So, once again, thank you guys. I really do appreciate your faces. And honestly, I hope I see more of you soon. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.